Let me ask you a question. What if I told you that just 1 hour a day, 60 minutes, could completely change the direction of your life? Would you believe me? Most people won't. Why? Because they've been sold a lie. They think transformation requires a miracle. They think success demands 20-hour days, luck, or a silver spoon. But I'm here to tell you it doesn't. It starts with 1 hour, just one. 1 hour of intention, 1 hour of discipline, 1 hour where you decide to work on yourself instead of watching someone else live their life. You see, most people are busy, but very few are growing. They scroll, they rush, they repeat, but they don't stop, and they don't reflect. And because they don't reflect, they don't change. But you, if you're still listening, you're different. You're searching, you're ready. And today, we're going to talk about the hour that can reshape your habits, your income, your relationships, and yes, even your legacy. Because success isn't an accident, it's a daily decision. And the best part? You don't need a new year, you don't need permission, and you don't need a big opportunity. All you need is 1 hour a day. Let's begin. Reclaim the first hour. Let me tell you something powerful. The way you start your day determines how you live your life. This isn't just a routine, it's a ritual. And that first hour is your window, your springboard, your foundation. Now most people, they give it away. They wake up and grab their phone. They check messages, they check news, they check what everyone else is doing. But what they don't check is themselves. They don't ask, what do I want today? What do I need to become? What am I building? You see, if you don't program your mind in the first hour, the world will do it for you. And let me warn you, the world doesn't always have your best interests at heart. It will feed you drama, distractions, noise, and before you know it, you're reacting to life instead of designing it. So here's the challenge. Reclaim that first hour. Make it yours, before emails, before scrolling, before chaos. Wake up a little earlier, not because it's trendy, but because it's transformative. And use that hour to build yourself. Read 10 pages of a good book. Write 3 things you're grateful for. Plan your day. Visualize your goals. Move your body. Drink water. Sit in silence. Do what the old you never took time for. Because here's the truth, my friend. If you can win the first hour, you can win the day. And if you win enough days, you win your life. Now, I know what some people say. I'm not a morning person. But listen, success doesn't care. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. You think the winners of this world roll out of bed with fireworks and fanfare? No, they decide, they train, they build the habit, and you can too. So starting tomorrow, make a new pact with yourself. Before you touch the world, touch your future. Use that first hour not to consume, but to create. Don't just wake up, rise up, because your future isn't waiting at 11 o'clock. It's waiting for you at 6. So reclaim it, build it solid, and when the day begins, you'll already be ahead, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. You won't just be prepared, you'll be powerful. And that's how transformation begins. Protect that hour like treasure. Now that you've reclaimed the first hour, the next step is to protect it like treasure. Because let me tell you, people will try to steal it from you. Not with a gun, but with a notification, a favor, a trivial task, a little, hey, can I just... And suddenly your hour is gone, vanished, given to something that builds their life, not yours. You must understand that this hour isn't free, it's not casual, it's not for leftovers, it's sacred, it's strategic, and if you don't protect it, no one else will. You see, time is like money, but even more dangerous to lose. You can always earn another dollar, but you never get that hour back. So what do? We put up a barrier. We say, this is my hour. No calls, no emails, no scrolling, no distractions. Not because we're rude, but because we're serious. You must become serious about your hour, like a builder is serious about his tools, like a farmer is serious about his land. Because this hour, if you use it correctly, will return to you 100-fold, in clarity, in competence, in results, in income, in confidence.
but only if you don't trade it for crumbs. Let me repeat that. Don't trade gold for crumbs. That's what people do when they say, I'll just check this thing. Let me respond quickly. It won't take long. And they end up spending their best hour reacting to the world instead of rebuilding their world. So here's the habit. Every evening, plan your hour. Label it. Carve it in stone. No flexibility, no negotiation. Tell your family, your friends, even yourself, this is your time to grow, to reflect, to create, to build. And if they don't respect it, teach them to. Not with anger, but with consistency. Because when you value your time, people start to value you. So the rule is simple. If it doesn't make you grow, it doesn't get your hour. Period. This isn't just about productivity, it's about priority. It's about saying, my future matters enough to defend it. And that first hour, that's your front line. So protect it like it's rare, because it is. It's the hour that separates average from excellence, the follower from the leader, the talker from the doer. And if you protect it today, you'll celebrate it tomorrow.
Direction before action. You know, it's not enough to take the hour, and it's not enough to protect it. You must know what to do with it. This is where most people get it wrong. They're active, they're busy, they're doing things, lots of things. But the question is, are they doing the right things? Because here's the truth. Action without direction is a recipe for frustration. It's like being on a treadmill, sweating, grinding, running, but going nowhere. So before you dive into your hour, before you jump into books, before you start building, before you hit play on a video, ask yourself a very powerful question. Where am I going? That question unlocks everything, because if you have no direction, you'll have no progress. You'll move, but you won't arrive. Direction is the compass. Action is the engine, and you need both. So let's be practical. At the start of your hour, take 3 minutes, just 3, to get clear. Ask yourself, what's my goal? What's the skill I'm building? What am I trying to improve today? And more importantly, why does this matter to me? Write it down. Don't keep it in your head. Put it on paper, because clarity on paper becomes focus in action. Jim Rohn said, reasons come first, answers come second. You must know your reason, because when you do, the rest becomes obvious. Now, let me give you a warning. If you skip this step, if you go straight to action without intention, you'll waste the most precious resource you have, your focus. And here's what's worse. You'll confuse movement with meaning. You'll feel productive, but you'll stay stuck. That's why direction matters more than speed, because it doesn't matter how fast you're going if you're going in the wrong direction. So take the time to aim, take the time to ask, take the time to align your actions with your outcomes. Because a man with direction, he walks slower, but he goes farther. So tomorrow morning, when your hour begins, don't just start doing, start deciding. Decide who you want to become. Decide what matters most. Decide which step brings you closer to the life you've dreamed of. Because direction transforms your hour into a mission. And when you live with a mission, you start walking a whole new path. And that path, clear, focused, intentional, is the one that leads to change. Learn for an hour, grow for life. If there's one thing I've learned in life, it's this. Success doesn't just come from doing, it comes from learning what to do. And the moment you stop learning, you stop growing. Now, here's the good news. Learning is simple. It's not about going back to school. It's not about expensive programs. It's about setting aside just one focused hour a day to nourish your mind. This hour is your advantage. It's your secret weapon. Because when most people are watching nonsense, you're watching growth. When they're drifting, you're developing. And over time, day after day, this learning starts to separate you from the crowd. Jim Rohn put it beautifully. Formal education will earn you a living. Self-education will earn you a fortune. So what are you learning during this hour?
You read books, you listen to mentors, you study success. You take in biographies, personal development, communication, health, wealth, mindset, the things that move the needle. Because the more you learn, the more you see, and the more you see, the better choices you make. Now let's be clear, this isn't passive. You're not just scrolling quotes hoping something sticks. You're intentional. You grab the book, the course, the notebook, and you say, "This is my growth hour." And let me tell you, 1 hour a day adds up. In 1 year, that's 365 hours. That's over 9 weeks of full-time work invested in your own mind. You do that for a year, and you won't even recognize yourself. Your language improves, your confidence rises, you speak with clarity, you think more sharply, you solve problems that used to stop you cold. Why? Because you've accumulated wisdom, bit by bit, page by page, lesson by lesson. And the best part? No one can take it from you. Skills can be learned, confidence can be built, knowledge multiplies, and it all starts with that quiet hour. So here's your next step. Choose your materials before your hour begins. Don't leave it to chance. Stack 3 books on your desk. Queue up the podcast. Open the course you've been putting off. And when that hour starts, go deep. Because every time you open your mind, you expand your future. And the man or woman who learns daily wins continuously. So don't skip this. Don't rush this. Make learning a habit, and you'll make success a lifestyle. 1 hour of practice is worth 10 hours of theory. Let's get something straight. Learning is powerful, but learning without doing is just entertainment. You can read all the books, watch all the videos, listen to all the podcasts, but if you never apply what you've learned, you're not growing. You're just collecting. You see, success doesn't come from what you know. It comes from what you practice. Let me repeat that. 1 hour of practice is worth 10 hours of theory. Why? Because action is where skill is born. You don't become a speaker by reading about speaking. You don't get fit by studying exercise routines. You don't master anything by standing on the sidelines. You must enter the arena. Now here's the mistake most people make. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until they're confident. They wait until it's perfect. But here's the truth. Confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence comes from action. Every time you practice, you get sharper. Every time you try, you improve. Every time you show up, you grow. So what does this mean for your hour? It means at least part of that hour should be practice. If you're learning to write, write something. If you're learning to speak, practice out loud. If you're learning business, build the plan, make the pitch, take the call. If you're learning design, open the software and create. No more waiting, no more preparing, just doing. Because repetition is the mother of all skill. Not perfection, repetition. You don't have to get it right the first time. You just have to start. Then you refine it, you improve it, you polish it. That's how professionals are made. And here's something else. When you practice daily, your progress becomes visible. You can feel it. You can measure it. You start to trust yourself. And that confidence, that's the real victory. Because a person who trusts their own effort becomes unstoppable. So here's the challenge. Take what you learned yesterday and apply it today. Even if it's messy, even if it's small, even if it's awkward, just start. Because doing transforms knowledge into power, and 1 hour of bold, focused, imperfect action can do more for your life than a lifetime of thinking about it. Reflect, refine, repeat. You know, life doesn't just get better because you keep moving forward. It gets better when you stop and look back with purpose. Too many people go from one day to the next, one task to the next, one goal to the next, without ever asking the most important question, how did I do today? That's where growth lives, not just in the doing, but in the reviewing. Jim Rohn used to say, a life worth living is a life worth recording. And I'd add this, a life worth recording is a life that keeps improving. Now let's break this down. At the end of your hour, not at the beginning, not later, not tomorrow, but at the end of your hour, take 5 minutes to reflect. What did you learn? What did you accomplish? What did you struggle with? What will you do better tomorrow? It's not complicated, it's just honest, and most people won't do it. Why? Because it forces them to face their own pattern. It reveals whether they're moving forward or just spinning in circles. But here's the power. Reflection creates clarity. Clarity creates improvement, and improvement creates results. Now, once you've reflected, don't stop there. Next step, refine. What can be tightened? What can be removed? What can be added, improved, upgraded, simplified? You don't need to overhaul your entire life every week. You just need to tweak the process bit by bit. Because excellence isn't one giant leap. It's a series of small, smart corrections over time. Think of it like this. Airplanes are off course 90% of the time, but they're constantly adjusting. And guess what? They land exactly where they're supposed to land. Why? Because they reflect, refine, and repeat. And that's your formula. Now, every hour you invest in yourself, reflect on it, refine it, repeat it tomorrow, just a little better. Do that for a week, you'll notice a change. Do it for a month, people will notice. Do it for a year, your life will never be the same. Because those who learn from experience grow slowly, but those who learn from evaluated experience, they grow fast. They grow strong. They grow wise. So don't just live your life. Examine it, shape it, elevate it. Reflect, refine, repeat. That's how you go from ordinary to exceptional. 1 hour of health a day keeps the doctor away. Let me tell you something most people forget. Your body isn't just a vehicle, it's the engine of your life. And if the engine breaks down, it doesn't matter how big your dreams are, it doesn't matter how clear your goals are, it doesn't even matter how much money is in your account. Because when health deteriorates, everything slows down. You see, body and mind are connected. You can't think clearly when you're tired. You can't lead when you're weak. You can't build when you're exhausted. So what do? We invest 1 hour a day in the most important machine you'll ever own, your body. Now listen, I'm not saying you have to be a bodybuilder. I'm not saying you have to run marathons. But I am saying you need to move. You need to breathe. You need to stretch. You need to sweat. Because when you honor your health, you elevate your energy. And when your energy rises, your results rise with it. Let me repeat that. Energy is the fuel of achievement. You want more focus? Move. You want more drive? Sweat. You want more peace? Breathe deeply. And the best part? It doesn't take all day. 1 focused hour. That's it. Walk in the morning, stretch your body, do yoga, lift weights, or just go outside and put the sun on your face and air in your lungs. Because here's a truth from Jim Rohn. Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. Now, let me give you a warning. Neglect is silent at first. A few skipped workouts, a few too many processed meals, a few extra hours sitting in that chair, and suddenly the body starts to break down. Not all at once, but slowly, quietly, until one day the bill comes due. In the doctor's bill, in the energy crash, in the missed opportunity you weren't strong enough to seize. Discipline weighs grams, regret weighs tons. So take the hour, protect the hour, use it to build your strength, not just your skills. Because you can't give your best if you're running on empty. You can't lead others if you can't even lift yourself. And you can't live your purpose if you're constantly managing pain. So starting today, treat your health like your future depends on it. Because it does. 1 hour a day, to walk, to stretch, to nourish, to rest. To keep the doctor away and success close by.
The quiet hour. Build a fortune in the quiet hour. Let me tell you something important. Profits are better than wages. Wages make you a living, but profits, they make you a fortune. And to build profits, you don't need 10 hours a day. You don't need a team. You don't even need permission. You need 1 hour, 1 quiet hour. Now, most people come home from work and they stop. They say, I've done enough. So they sit, scroll, watch, and wonder why nothing changes. But that quiet hour, just before bed, just after dinner, that's your chance. That's your space to build something that belongs to you, not for your boss, not for your salary, but for your future. In that hour, you can start your side business. You can learn a new skill. You can write. You can plan. You can sell. You can build. You don't need a fancy office. You don't need a perfect setup. You just need a little hunger and an hour you don't give to the world. Now, let's be honest. Results won't come in one day, but that's not the goal. The goal is momentum. 1 hour a day, 5 hours a week, 260 hours a year. That's not small. That's massive. That's a product launched. That's a brand started. That's a future created. But only if you treat the hour like treasure, not as time to waste, but time to build. You don't build wealth with wishes. You build it with work. Quiet, focused, consistent work when no one's watching. And here's the best part. If you do this long enough, one day you'll look up and realize something. That little hour built your confidence, built your income, built your independence, and it started when you made a simple decision to stop wasting the quiet hour and start using it to build your fortune. Relationships are built 1 hour at a time. Now, let's talk about something most success books leave out: relationships. Because what good is a fortune? What good is a strong body, a sharp mind, a big bank account if you have no one to share it with? Success without connection is empty. You don't build a good life just by building businesses or habits. You build a good life by building human bonds, and that takes time. It requires attention. It requires presence. But here's the good news. Just like you build wealth with a quiet hour, you build relationships the same way. 1 hour at a time. 1 hour of real conversations. 1 hour of listening, not just hearing. 1 hour of putting down the phone and looking someone in the eyes. You see, people don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel, and they feel it when you give them time. Now, I'm not asking for 10 hours a week. I'm not asking you to become a therapist. All I'm saying is give someone in your life your full attention for just 1 hour. Your spouse, your child, your parent, your mentor, your friend. And don't just sit in the same room. Be present. Ask questions, share stories, laugh a little, or just sit together and be quiet, because presence is powerful. Let me tell you what happens when you do this. Trust starts to grow, walls start to fall, love multiplies, and connection deepens. It doesn't require a fancy dinner or a big trip. It takes 1 hour of your undistracted heart. And I would say this: people who know how to build great relationships always win in the long run. Because in life's storms, and they will come, money won't hold your hand, success won't hug you, but relationships will. So plan that hour, make it intentional, because if you don't invest in people, you'll wake up one day surrounded by things, but feeling completely alone. And here's the truth: a rich life is measured in memories, not just milestones, and memories are made in moments, moments like this, moments that start with just 1 hour. So the next time you think about success, remember this: don't just build your future, build your relationships, and do it 1 hour at a time. Stack your hours, stack your future. You've heard it before: success is built one step at a time. Well, I'm going to say it a little differently. Success is built 1 hour at a time. 1 hour of discipline, 1 hour of learning, 1 hour of building, 1 hour of investing in your mind, your body, your future. Now, here's the problem. Most people underestimate what 1 hour a day can do. They say it's just 1 hour. What difference does it make? Let me show you the math. 1 hour a day is 7 hours a week. That's over 300 hours a year. That's more than 7 full weeks of full-time work. Now ask yourself, what could you do with 7 full weeks focused only on growth? You could write a book, learn a high-value skill, build a business, change your health, master your mindset, or even rebuild your life. But you don't do it in a rush. You do it by stacking the hours on top of each other, each one building on the last, brick by brick, quiet, steady, strong. That's how a future is built, not in a burst of energy, but in consistent effort. Now, here's the secret. Small disciplines don't stay small. They expand, they multiply, they shape who you become. Every time you show up for that hour, you're voting for your future. You're saying, I'm not wasting my life. I'm not waiting for luck. I'm building something that matters. And that decision made daily creates momentum. It creates confidence. It creates results. Because when you add up the hours, you add up the progress. And when you add up the progress, you start to change your identity. You go from someone who waits to someone who builds. Now listen, there will be days when you miss it. That's okay, you're human. But don't let one missed hour turn into a missed week or a missed year. Always come back. Return to stacking. Because time passes anyway. And one day, the question won't be, did you dream big? It will be, did you use your hours wisely? So stack them, protect them, and one day you'll look up and realize you didn't just change your habits, you changed your life. When 1 hour transforms into a new you. You started with just 1 hour. 1 hour of learning, 1 hour of building, 1 hour of reflection, 1 hour for your health, 1 hour for your future. At first it seemed small, almost invisible, like nothing was happening. But day after day, hour after hour, something was happening. You were becoming someone new. Not overnight, not by accident, but by decision. Because here's a truth you can count on. You don't change your life in an instant.